clapping in 7, 6, 5.
Clap on the video. Good luck with that key. 3, 2, 1. 3, 2, 1. There it is, kind of.
Wow, that's the saddest hand job
in.
I've ever seen. Read all about
Headphones
it.
are in.
Read all about it. Extra, extra. Sunday papers coming in a little late today. Paperboy was a little hungover. He went out with his friends. He's a freshman in high school. It's time.
I don't think it's late for the listeners. And
they don't know that. They don't know that.
They don't know what hell I just put you through.
It's not hell. Look, I've been in hotels and faced the same challenges with internet coverage. So I get it. We're good.
You know what's the extra kick in the balls? And I know I sound 90 because it's the oldest problem. Is I then have to track down my old headphones because Apple, all of their laptops still take the old plug, just like the rest of the world.
Makes me crazy.
You have to bring 2 sets of headphones when you go on a trip because then when you're on the airline, they're with the rest of the world that has the one plug, whatever it's called, 3mm jack.
See this? This is what I have to bring on the road for all the adaptions of my Apple stuff.
Nerd alert. Nerd alert. We're going to have a good podcast regardless. I have a funny cat story. Also, I'm going to go after Bernie Taupin later, which can't wait to do it.
Wait, what's the funny cat story? What do we WTF?
Okay,
you going to sit on a stool and tell this story?
No, staying at a friend's. You know cats better than I, but what cats have you had in your life?
Never had a cat in my life. I'm allergic to them, and I like to look at them from a distance, but I can't have them near me.
I'm allergic to their fucking attitude. So I'm staying with a friend, right? So last night, the cat, I hear something, like I'm reading in bed, right? I hear a cat next to me, the side table. It is reaching up, right? I catch it and it looks at me like this, and it has one arm bracing itself on the end table and one arm wrapped around a glass of water that it's pulling towards the edge. Now, because I've done a lot of clip shows, I've seen a lot of cats do that, but I thought it was extraordinary and not, yeah. I thought very rare cats could know how to do that, like a very complicated dog trick. So I'm like, what the fuck? I go, what the fuck? Get the fuck out of here. And I literally tell it to go, and it reluctantly gets down and walks out. Cut to middle of the night. I hear a crash. I wake up, I look down, and the cat's kind of looking at me and then trots off. It had successfully pulled the glass of water into my backpack onto my laptop.
No shit.
I'm in panic. I have to take the laptop. I run into the kitchen. I'm like shaking water out of it. My backpack is full of water, and the cat is there kind of aggressively. So it has this move.
Wow.
It aggressively like runs into you with its jaw, you know what I mean? And then the rest of its body. It basically is petting itself with your calves.
Yeah.
So it's doing that a lot to me. And I'm like, no. I'm not letting you back in this emotional relationship. I'm like, fuck you, cat.
Yeah.
And so I'm drying my laptop. Finally, I'm walking back towards the bedroom, and it's doing that, and it's weaving and doing this aggressive thing. And it seems in a good mood. I'm like, okay. I pass the front door towards the bedroom, and now it attacks me and grabs that same grab. It's grabbing my like ankles and like fake biting my calves, like biting, but gently. And I'm like, what the fuck is your deal? And I stop, and then it stops. And if I take one step towards the bedroom, it grabs my, and I'm like, what the fuck do you want to go out now in Nashville? It's like 42 degrees last night.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you want to go out? And at this point I'm like, I open the front door and it flies out. I'm like, well, good luck, fucking cat. And now I'm like, I hope you fucking die. Like, this is, you asked for it. You asked for this, and the door's closing. It's like 3 a.m. Like, fuck you. Yeah. So this morning, wake up, and it's like, now
do you know that this is an indoor-outdoor cat?
Ish. I mean, it is mostly indoor. It's fed indoor, the whole thing and everything. But so I'm like, how's your cat being outside? And they're like, good. I'm like, how's it outside all night when it's in the 40s. And they're like, that, you know, we don't do that a lot. But, and so I'm like, I don't know if this cat's coming back. And I'm not that bummed about it. And so anyway, then, and all the house is up and running, sunlight, no cat all morning. And I'm like, fuck, I think I killed their cat. And then, all of a sudden the cat comes waltzing in, comes right up to me and does that. Get the fuck away from me. Yeah. So now I'm like kind of afraid of this cat, and I don't like, you know, I just want to hide from it and definitely hide my shit. But like it was a vindictive.
Cats are. You hear stories where, I think my friend Allison, you know, my friend Allison Hebel, I can't remember what she did. It might have been when she first brought her first kid home, and the cat then pissed on every single pair of her shoes in the closet. They're vindictive motherfuckers.
They take things personally, and I guess they're smart enough to do personal shit. I mean, I'm sure all the cat listeners are rolling their eyes. They've heard these stories a million times. That was my first, like, it came back and got up and spilled the water. And it turns out the whole story is really about a cat who wanted to go out for the whole night. And it got its way.
Is it a female cat?
No, male.
I wonder
Larry.
if it senses there's
Fuck
a cat
Larry.
in heat nearby, and so it needs to get out. Almost like when you're driving down La Cienega on a Saturday night and you see those nightclubs and there's girls in short skirts and they're getting out of SUVs, and you suddenly go like, I need to get out into the night. These girls want to breed.
I'm going to spill Erin's glass of water. She's going to kick me out, and then I'm good to go.
Oh, my God. That's so funny because we used to go to nightclubs when I was growing up. You know, you and I grew up just outside the city, and we would go into the city on the weekends sometimes, and we would go to Danceteria or the Limelight.
You did that more than I was up in the sticks at boarding school, but yeah. I would go to Limelight, the one in the church, Limelight, right?
The one in the church, yeah, down in Chelsea.
That's where I would go when on break, yeah.
And it's so funny because, like, we never got laid. One time we got laid. Me and my friend Frank, we went to Danceteria, and we met these two girls that lived in the projects in the Bronx. And we drove them to the projects. It was like the scariest fucking neighborhood in the Bronx. And they invited us in, and we went in, and my friend Frank went into one bedroom with one, and they had sex. And then the girl I was with, I think she was like you. She didn't like my cocky attitude. And so she kind of shut me down, and I realized, like, oh, this was just a ride home. This was just a ride home for me anyway.
Yeah.
And then,
no. You had to sit in the projects and wait for your buddy?
No, she let me stay inside, thank God. If she had let me outside, I don't think I would have been there when he got out.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is a story about challenging pussy. That's the opening of the show. That's what this has been. Yeah.
There you go.
Tomorrow I head to Michigan, going to the big house, as they say, as sports fans say, which I'm not one of them, but meeting my dad there and visiting Sophie and going to the game against Penn State.
So we're both visiting our kids in college this weekend.
Yeah.
Wow. So how are your seats for the game? Didn't you say you couldn't get them at first?
Yeah, I'm watching them all plummet now. Not plummet. They're still above $100 each. And keep in mind, there's 110,000 seats.
Yeah.
But I'm watching them go down on StubHub. I blame Penn State. I guess they, have that rabid fan base. Obviously a rabid fan base if they can like that pedophile institution, which is Penn State football. And no allegedly needed to be said in that sentence. So anyway, that's what's happening. It's Penn State.
Is that the biggest stadium in the country? Was it Florida
Michigan's
State?
is.
Michigan? Yeah, Michigan.
Michigan is the only thing bigger than it. Like it's, a lot of people are like, wait, Nebraska or other ones, but is, I guess the Indianapolis Race Speedway.
Yeah.
But that's in counting the infield and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But the biggest like football stadium or outdoor stadium is Michigan.
110,000.
Yeah.
It's $100 a ticket. That is
more. You can't get anything 100 right now, but I'm waiting for it to drop. And this is not Parents Weekend. This is not. It's not. I don't think it's that big of a game.
So that's $10 million in ticket sales. That doesn't include beer, hot dogs, jerseys, hats.
No beer. No beer.
No beer. Really?
Remember, yeah, NCAA, man.
Oh, no shit.
I'm pretty sure about that. Yeah, I mean, you can't get them at college basketball games.
Well, when we used to go to see the BU hockey games, we used to drink our faces off, and we were only 18.
They sold beer in there, or we would pregame?
No, they sold beer in there.
It's all about pre-gaming. Also, because of underage kids, they all pre-game like crazy. I mean, it's the walk to the game, because I went last year on Parents Weekend, on Greek Row or whatever, every frat yard is like they put up like police tape around their lawn. The house is overflowing, like everyone going crazy, because all of them can go also, there's room.
Dude, that's why I love that movie Old School, because how much would you love to just take a year of your life and move into a frat house and just fucking drink and chase pussy for a year? I mean, come on.
You would get so much. You get so much charity, like girls, like just like, oh wait, you're the old guy in Alpha Nu or whatever the hell the fraternity. Yeah, like all right,
right.
Yeah.
I just played golf with the guy that wrote that movie 2 days ago.
Oh wow.
Scott Armstrong.
Yeah. I think we played golf with him.
He also wrote The Hangover Part 2 and Hangover Part 2. Bunch of other movies.
Was he being sued for rewriting Hangover 1?
Hey now.
Actually, wait. Hangover.
No, Hangover 3, I think, was a repeat of Hangover 1.
No. I missed Hangover 2. That was always my joke. I'd give Zach shit. I'm like, hey, I'm seeing Hangover 3. I'm like, will I be lost if I didn't see Hangover 2? And no, Hangover 2 was exactly the same thing, but in Thailand. Hangover 3 became a heist.
But it was back in Vegas, right?
Back in Vegas, but it was a heist.
Yeah.
Yeah. With John Goodman, I think.
Wow.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Zach and John Goodman. That's a heavyweight lineup.
It was then, for sure.
We should say we're taping this on Thursday because tonight is the hearings again on January 6th.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and also maybe news will break because a lot of things are going a little haywire right now. It's so funny. I looked up stories for today, and you would every news site, it was like, holy, London is shitting the bed. Oil, OPEC suing them, and all these dire predictions on a huge recession. Like I'm reading all these stories, and I hadn't checked the stock market yet, and I'm like, oh my God, is it down like 600? And I go and I check, no, up 600.
Yeah, it's up. It was down 120 this morning. I just checked it. The Dow is up 948 points. Something just happened in the news because the Dow is up 948 points.
Well, they're checking this inflation report or whatever.
What the fuck? That is crazy.
Sounds like a time to short.
Damn. So I'm heading to Chicago. I'm very nervous because we're going to see Owen. First of all, we got fucking reamed on airfares. I think we paid $800 each round trip to Chicago because it's like Parents Weekend, and then we rented an Airbnb for it was like $250 a night for like a shitty 1-bedroom. It's crazy, and so we better have a good time. But I'm doing I'm doing a theater while we're there, and so I'm kind of nervous because I really want to sell it out because Owen's coming with his roommates, and it'd be kind of sad if he shows up and it's half empty. It's like, so Dad, when you work, only half the employees show up? No, it's not always like this.
It's COVID. They weren't allowed. It's sold out, actually.
Yeah, it's 50% capacity. It's back to the state, it's spiking again. And then also, he's seen me before, and I don't want him to see me doing the same material again. So I've been putting together all my new material so I can do an hour that doesn't repeat anything he's seen before.
Oh, that's so cute.
Why
you
am I
doing that
so
for
nervous?
Your son?
I've never been this nervous.
That's the most appropriate nervousness I've ever heard. Are you kidding me? It's wanting to impress a family member.
I just want him to be proud of me. It's been, it's been a rough career for somebody to have a father who's in this business, and you just see them go off. You don't know what happens when they go on the road. So I want him to see that when I go on the road, it's good and not sad. Because there's sad
Slapping
weeks.
waitresses' asses and all that. Yeah, let them see it all.
Son, get over here and sell these pins. They're not going to sell themselves.
Also, come by the hotel room. You should really see me cry all day. I get up really early. I do radio on the road. It's super depressing. And then I cry all day. And maybe I walk out for lunch.
I've got to do Chicago local TV on Friday morning. And
nice.
So my agent sent me like a list of questions they're going to ask me. They wanted to prep me with the questions.
Yeah.
There were 5 questions. 4 of them were about the Ellen DeGeneres Show.
Oh, wonderful.
So this will be clip worthy.
Yeah, that would be pretty good. Yeah, maybe. I wonder what new kind of angle you can take on that.
I think the angle is going to be to pivot and do my jokes about the Queen being dead.
The Queen is not Ellen?
It's just so sad, like how long it takes to really work out new bits. And like I had all this material about when the Queen died, and I finally got it really good. And then I did it last night at the Comedy Store, and people just looked at me like, "Why are you still doing jokes about the Queen dying? That was like weeks ago." That's because I finally got it good.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
We want to thank Melody Myers. Speaking of good, she makes, dare I say, the best logo. No, we have a lot of people that make great logos, but she is up there. I mean, this one is fucking great. It's a little outdated because it's from the hurricane, but I didn't go through my emails last week, so I didn't see it, so I wanted to post it. Thank you, Melody.
It's not that outdated. I mean, we did the story after the hurricane about the wife tying her husband up to the bed.
Yeah.
Duct taping him to his hospital bed because he was paralyzed.
Yeah. So great.
Yeah.
And then the song, I'm not sure who did it, but again, we're deep into the folder and we're finding some B-sides. We're finding some weird, crazy shit.
There was a comment on YouTube last week that they thought you found your song, of that very lo-fi song last week. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So all songs are good, in my opinion.
Let's do some corrections.
Yes. Oh, paper. Yeah.
A gentleman with the handle Satanic Odyssey, which just makes you immediately think, that guy's got an interesting life. Something's interesting about Satanic Odyssey's life.
Yeah, and that it's an odyssey. It's not just purely satanic.
Right.
Like I got it figured out. No, man, this is a journey.
This is an exploration of the dark side.
Yeah.
He said Christian Bale played Cheney, not Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yes. That's how good Christian Bale was. I thought he was Daniel Day-Lewis playing Cheney.
Right.
But no, when you said talk about guys disappearing in their roles, my mind immediately went to Christian Bale, and I didn't even hear you say Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
But no, both of those guys, like the way Daniel Day-Lewis became Lincoln.
Yeah.
Both those guys are really, they disappear in their roles.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally messed that one up.
Amanda Crocus says the name of the Simpsons bartender is Mo Sislak, not Red. This is the most and only time I've ever been offended and have zero to do with the news, with the show's characters and writing. Yeah, we were talking about the prank calls. A lot of people corrected us on the prank calls. It was not the Jerky Boys, but Red was part of a whole other series of prank calls. I think we already corrected this one.
We did, and it was Red was the bartender, I think, in that New Jersey bar. I'm guessing. No need to correct us. I think it was a New Jersey bar, but no need to correct us.
Tour dates coming up. San Francisco Punchline, November 3rd through the 5th. Tampa Side Splitters, November 17th to the 19th. Also dates coming up in Oklahoma City and Dallas, Texas. Go to fitzdog.com for all your ticketing needs.
New material, folks.
All new material. Queen is dead. So are the jokes. Jesus.
I like it.
You know what I'll do is I'll just do jokes from Sunday papers in Chicago.
All right. Yeah. You want to get ready, Chicago. He's going to go after Bernie Taupin.
You know who else I'm going after is headphones that suck. You be done with them. It's time to get some wireless earbuds that you can wear anytime. They look good. They sound good. They're optimized. The gel tips fit in your ears perfectly. They don't budge.
Love them.
You get 8 hours of playtime, 32-hour battery life. I'm talking about Raycon, people. I love it. I wear them when I go to the gym, and I put on classic rock. Yesterday, I did AC/DC's Back in Black while I did my chest. I did my pectoral muscles. And I felt like a man. I felt manly, and the best part is I couldn't hear the cheesy Gold's music techno that they pump through the gym.
Or the Gold's manager who's trying to kick you out.
Fuck that guy. They've got 3 different customized sound profiles, noise isolation. They've got awareness mode, so like if you start talking to somebody, you hold down the button. And you can hear them without taking out the earbuds, which is a really nice option.
Yep.
And also, by the way, about half the price of other premium audio brands. They're so inexpensive for the quality that you get. So check them out. So what else? Okay, go to buyraycon, RAYCON.com today and use code PAPERS15 and get 15% off your Raycon order. That's code PAPERS15 at buyraycon.com to score 15% off. Buyraycon.com, code PAPERS15.
And that's Papers15.
You want to talk about Factor? You remember we both got the Factor delivered to our homes?
I loved it. Yeah, delicious, easy. Also, you know what I realize is I need someone to make me eat vegetables, just like when I was a kid. And I'm not going to do it on my own. And these things come, it's a whole meal. It's amazing.
And you can ask for vegan, you can ask for veggies, and they have like over 30 meal choices per week.
Ready to eat meal delivery. You switched it 30 plus meal choices. And then what is it? 36 plus add-ons.
Yeah.
I just got the most delicious meals sent. They sent this packet. It was the sample packet. It was amazing.
It's great for lunch. Like I go to my office, I got a mini fridge in my office, and I just put it right in there. It takes like 2 minutes to heat up, because you don't freeze it, you just refrigerate it.
It's literally 2 minutes. It's all made. It's almost like the unbelievable update of like the TV dinner. Like you got your vegetables, you got your side, there's a dessert in there, and it's amazing. It's 2 minutes in the microwave. You're just reheating it, and it's great. And they're fresh. And I don't know, it was like almost too easy. It was fantastic.
Fall options include 3-bean vegan chili, apple mustard pork chop, Tuscan tomato chicken. It's literally cheaper than takeout. And
it is cheaper than takeout.
Yeah. And thanks
you can change your order.
Ingredients, you can actually feel good about what you're eating. It's flexible. Change up your order every week with plans from 4 to 18 meals a week. 18 meals a week. Slow down.
They have keto. They have calorie smart, vegan, and veggie, and protein plus, and they're all chef crafted. So head to go.factor75.com/paper60. That's 60. And don't forget the code PAPER60 to get 60% off your first box. Again, that's code PAPER60 at go.factor75.com/papers60. 60% off. What do you got to lose? Try it. Eat delicious meals.
It's It's real good. You'll thank us later. All right, let's get to that front page, Mike.
Oh, you got it.
Extra! Extra! Read all about it! Extra!
All right. You ready? I didn't hear the paper. You did the paper crinkle?
I did it, but it's a little. The paper's a little old. It doesn't
I got a
have
printer manual. Look at me.
There we go.
I got a printer manual.
Nice.
All right. France. Well, this is one of the bad news stories I read this morning about how the nuclear war threats are being taken so seriously now from Russia that France had to speak up. Here's what France said. France will not trade nuclear strikes with Russia over Ukraine President. Let me do this again. France will not trade nuclear strikes with Russia over Ukraine. President Emmanuel Macron said, "Our doctrine rests on the fundamental interests of the nation. They are defined clearly and wouldn't be directly affected at all if, for example, there was a ballistic nuclear attack in Ukraine or the region." I think he might be underestimating the effect of this. But that story should have been written this way. This just in, 80 years ago, France won't do anything if there is a world power aggressor in the region. In fact, France won't do much even as they march down the Champs-Élysées.
Yes.
That's France's opinion. That's their position.
Bonjour, les Russians. Here are our Jews. We have lined them up for you to make it easy.
Here are our wives. Here are our daughters for the taking.
Would you like fromage with my wife?
And now who will save us? Who will save us? And our great culture.
I got to say, we've bailed out the French several times, but we would not exist if it wasn't for the French. You know, they stepped in during the Revolutionary War when the chips were down. They fucking bailed us out.
They hated the British.
They hated the British.
Yeah. So I don't know, man. I mean, I know some people are going to side with them. I know some people are not sympathetic, but they're seeing two sides to this issue. Unlike the American media seems to see one side to this issue, very anti-Russia. But I don't know. But for him to underestimate the effect in the region seems a little weird.
Well, France has gotten they've shifted very right-wing. And, a lot of these right-wing totalitarian countries are siding with Putin quietly.
Yeah, no, I know. I don't know if Macron's doing that, but
Macron's not. But I'm saying the population of France is.
Oh my God, no, totally
very much to the right. Yeah.
All right, sticking to the right. Alex Jones, get this. So he lost the verdict and was awarded. The victims, the families of the school shooting and everything were awarded $1 billion. And then the headline came out after that. He wasn't at the trial. Alex Jones mocks grieving Sandy Hook families as he live streams the $1 billion verdict. Quote, "Do these people really think they're getting any of this money?" So he was not in the courtroom as the judgment was read against him in the defamation case. 50 million, and then so he starts going like this, like Oprah, 50 million, 80 million, blah, blah. You get $1 million, you get 100 million, you get 50 million. He shouted as anguished family members cried on screen, even as the settlements were awarded to them. Quote, "Ain't gonna be happening. Ain't no money," he later said, claiming he was in bankruptcy. Then he appealed to his audience to send him donations that he promised, quote, "The money you donate does not go to these people, the victims. It goes to fight." Oh, he didn't say victims. "It will not go to these people. It goes to fight this fraud and to stabilize the company."
Wow.
He urged them to go to his website and buy merchandise, promising, quote, "double Patriot points," as the courtroom feed showed a father who was sitting there with his shattered face on, a shattered look on his face. Anyway, wait till his attorneys, this is what I can't wait for, explain to him that punitive damages are not covered under bankruptcy and that this will be prioritized over all creditors, and the goal is to prevent him from broadcasting. That's the goal of this large amount.
Right.
Yeah.
Try the new Patriot protein powder. You try to dissolve it in bankruptcy filing, and then the court is able to strain the powder back out of the water and ship it to Connecticut.
Act now, you'll get double Patriot points for denying a massive school shooting ever took place. Triple Patriot points if you harass the parents of the dead kids.
Fuck these people. Fuck these. How do you, in what reality do you say fuck these people? That's crazy.
Well, in what reality do you say it never happened?
Yeah. Right.
And then his followers and a Marjorie Taylor Greene is like, look at her with her, look at this mom with her crocodile tears crying over a son that never existed or still exists. Like what? I don't even know what the lie is.
I think he said that they paid actors, the Democrats paid actors to show up in Connecticut and pretend that they'd lost family members as a way of working against gun control. Working for gun control.
All right, let's go to an insane person on the other side.
All right, here we go. Los Angeles mayoral
country.
candidate Rick Caruso raised eyebrows Tuesday when he corrected a debate moderator who called him a white man. Quote, "I'm Italian." The billionaire developer retorted to Chuckles, "That's Latin. Thank you." Caruso added that he felt connected to the Latino community, but quite frankly, my job is to connect with every community. He's a Democrat who was seeming to suggest a link between his heritage and much of the city's population. Italy has a Latin language heritage, but the term Latino generally refers to Americans with Latin American roots, not European.
Yeah. Well, his favorite movie is the famous movie about Latinos in New York, The Godfather.
Hey.
The Latino movie.
Yeah, right. Hey, let's go see The Godfather.
And Greg, you're sad chap, but your dad died in that Mexican joint, Rayo's.
Up in Harlem, right.
Rayo's Mexican restaurant in Harlem.
That's right.
They have all those amazing salsas that they sell for pasta. Hey, what do you want to eat? I'm in the mood for some Latino food, like an eggplant parm or some cannolis.
Hey. I'm brushing up on my Latin for my trip to Rome in the spring.
If he loses, maybe he'll run for mayor of Compton as a black man because his grandma was Sicilian. Maybe he'll pull that one in.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
What was that? What was that one with Christopher Walken when he said that to the...
Yeah, Tarantino wrote that movie.
Yeah. Murder or something?
I know, I'm forgetting. It was a good movie. I remember I saw it in the theater.
Somebody screaming.
True Romance?
True Romance, I think, yeah.
I think it might have been True Romance.
But Italians are just like Mexicans. They love their mothers. They put a lot of cheese on their food, and they work construction jobs. The difference is the Mexicans show up to their jobs.
Oh, boy. Oh.
See that?
Nice.
Yeah.
I did see that. By the way, he then said, after he claimed he was Latino, he goes, if one group rises, because he's talked then, like you mentioned, he then goes, but I have to appeal to every group. He goes, because if one group rises, we all rise. A Latino in Los Angeles would never say that.
Yeah.
The only race maybe in the history of the world who would have the audacity to say that is the whitest of the white men.
Yes. Right.
We'll all rise. Just trust. You got to trust it.
Yeah.
You got to trust it. If I rise, I'm bringing all you with me.
Well, Italians are like Mexicans also because Mexicans are the object of racism in this country, and Italians are racist. So they've got that connection.
Have you heard Italian New Yorkers talk about the Puerto Rican Day Parade? You might question their ties to being Latino, or Latin in any way.
And you'd think there'd be some empathy. Like I researched, what kind of reception Italians got when they first came to this country, and I just pulled up this little paragraph. As immigration from Europe and Asia neared its crest in the late 19th century, anti-immigrant sentiment soared along with it. The U.S. was in the groups of an economic depression, and immigrants were blamed for taking American jobs. Sound familiar? At the same time, racialist theories circulated in the press. Advancing pseudoscientific theories alleged that, quote, Mediterranean types were inherently inferior to people of Northern European heritage. Drawings and songs caricaturing the new immigrants as childlike, criminal, or subhuman became commonplace. One 1891 cartoon claimed that if immigration was properly restricted, you would never be troubled with anarchism, socialism, the mafia, and such kindred evils. So you'd think they'd kind of, like the KKK used to go after the Italians. That was their first targets, blacks and Italians.
Mm-hmm. So maybe he's right. Maybe he is. Maybe this billionaire is really marginalized and he feels hurt.
Yeah. All right, let's get to...
I think we're still in
still in
lead
front
stories.
A tree trimmer on Tuesday, I think you can always smell something horrible's about to happen. He died after getting caught in a wood chipper in Menlo Park. The Menlo Park Police Department said it responded to a report of a man who had fallen into the industrial equipment. The incident is under investigation.
I'd hope so. This sounds like a case for Murder, She Wrote, which now sadly means it's going to be an unsolved murder.
They said the body will be cremated, which should be pretty easy since it's stuck to wood chips.
Yeah,
it's
going to be
right
very
up.
yeah, exactly.
Dude, Dahmer would have loved this story. He's like, "Oh, you already ground it? Awesome, I'll be
tapas?
right over."
Yeah, a little app party.
Some apps and some tacos.
Yeah. Imagine if the family needed, no, it has to be an open casket. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. See you in a couple of months.
Yeah, that would be like trying to put together like a piece of paper that you just put through the paper shredder.
Man, what a way to go.
Oh, it reminds me of Fargo. Remember Fargo?
Of course.
Yeah.
And I think you're kind of aware of it. Also, like, I don't know. I guess there's really big industrial chippers where it would happen fast.
Yeah.
But the ones you buy, like Fargo, like remember in Fargo, you even saw him struggling, like jamming that leg in there, and you have to cut it up. Obviously, it's a huge, I don't know, whatever.
Human bones
They
are
better
really
investigate
hard.
this. Yeah.
Although my mom just broke a bone in her foot last night. She was just walking down the hallway in her slippers, and her slipper like slipped off because it's about 30 years old.
Was it a cat? Was it a fucking cat?
It wasn't a cat, no.
Oh.
But she broke her little pinky toe.
Oh.
In her right foot, so she can't drive.
Really? Sophie did that. We were in Canada, and I'm like, well, this is a good place. They have amazing health care. Went, they looked at it, they taped it like to her other toe, and whatever you do with a broken toe. She stubbed it also. And then I learned Canada has great health insurance for Canadians.
Oh, no shit.
Oh, we got charged out the ass. Yeah.
No kidding. Oh, I didn't know that.
Not good.
Wow. Because when I was in Ireland, when I was 18, I had I grew up with asthma, and I had a severe attack, which a lot of people do when they go to Ireland for the first time, because it's so dank and moldy.
Or a lot of American Irish cry like little babies and blame it on their allergies, and that's why there's so many allergy attacks, in quotes.
And so they took me to the hospital. I spent a week in the hospital on a respirator for 3 of the days, intravenous.
I can't believe that.
And
Every time you say it, I can't believe it.
At the end of the week, I left, and they handed me a bill for like $1.50. It was like I remember paying it with like the cash I had in my fanny pack, and then they gave me a bunch of drugs to go. They're like, here you go, take these with you, lad.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
All right, this is your story here.
Some people were skeptical. Others agreed with the findings of a recent report by market research firm Top Data that Massachusetts is the happiest state in the country. The report looks at 7 key factors, including employment, leisure activities, mental health, personal finance, personal relationships, physical health, and social policies.
Racism.
The people are diverse. The activities are diverse. Beaches, mountains, cities, museums. What's not to like, Gustavo Pena of Boston said.
What's not to like? Just the unfriendliest people in the country. Who did they pull? 5-year-old white kids in Weston?
Yeah.
And by the way, some of the happiest and good-natured and good-humored people I know are Massachusetts people who don't live in Massachusetts
Right.
anymore. Like there's so many in Los Angeles.
Dude, did you hear we're the fucking happiest people? Yeah, no, I fucking read it. Dude, I read it in the fucking Herald. What do you... Fuck you.
Are you going to tell me I'm happy?
I mean, look, it's
Hey,
April.
Pally.
Here's Massachusetts. It's April. It's still snowing out. Your kids are all hooked on Percocet. Brady left the Pats. Traffic getting over the Tobin Bridge is backed up for 6 miles. A 2-bedroom apartment is $6,000. You're Irish, and bars close at 1 a.m. Yeah, that sounds pretty happy.
They're miserable. I couldn't believe how unfriendly they were when I lived there for those 4 years.
The meanest people in the country. And don't get me wrong, I fucking love Boston. And you and I both went to school there. I lived there for 3 years later. There was something about it I responded to. I liked the sarcasm, but not nice. It's not nice, and it's not happy.
No, it was a cynical sarcasm. That's what you related to. I relate to it also. But they are, I mean, so one thing that happened was I remember in 94, I was a diehard New York Rangers fan, right? And they hadn't won. They were the Red Sox of hockey. I mean, in 1940 when they won, I think there were 6 teams or something. So anyway, they finally won in 94. And it changed my identity because we were lovable losers. Like everyone would make fun of us in the league, but we had rabid fan base. I mean, it was crazy, especially the blue seats up high in Madison Square Garden. They'd pass around songs. We'd sing songs. Anyway, but it did change my identity. And I have to say, I have not been as into the Rangers since, because there was that quality I loved about them. And when the Red Sox won, I'm like, I wonder if that will happen to Red Sox fans, even though they weren't lovable. Those were the Cub fans. I was wondering, and it was the opposite. They became bloodthirsty.
Yes.
It was like a switch was thrown, like a bully, like a kid who all of a sudden oh my God, I can fight back. I can punch faces and hurt.
Yeah.
Like all of a sudden it was like, I'm going on a tear.
Yeah.
And they're just dicks.
Yeah, they had tasted human flesh. The sweetest moment of my life, and probably yours, was 1986. Being in Boston when the Mets beat the Red Sox in the World Series. It was so sweet.
All the champagne was open. I mean, I went out in Kenmore Square, and then all of a sudden they were playing it on the big screen, and then all these TVs were. And when it went through, there was such disbelief. So it took a few minutes. Like there was and then you're like, you truly were like, we should get out of here. And boy, were we right.
Yeah. You were not wearing Mets hats in Kenmore Square. My dad came up for Game 4. He took me and one of my friends to a game.
I think I might have just told this story, but some guy, not a comedian, but some guy shared a story. It was in a newspaper. I read it. Anyway, if I told it, I apologize, but it's really fast. He goes, his memory was he was a really, really young kid, like 4 or 5 or something. And his grandfather, his father, the whole family was over. And when that inning came and they were going to win, and there was 2 strikes, 2 outs, they woke him up. So he goes, but you have to understand it from my perspective. My grandfather and father wake me up. They take me into the room, and there's generations of my family in there, and all of them start screaming and kicking furniture and then crying. And I'm like, why did you wake me up for this? Yeah.
A Georgia inmate allegedly stole $11 million from a billionaire movie mogul and used the cash to buy a mansion in Atlanta, all while locked up in a maximum security prison. Arthur Lee Cofield Jr., 31, allegedly impersonated Sidney Kimmel, an uber-wealthy chairman and CEO of an LA entertainment company, with the help of contraband cell phones from inside the Georgia Department of Corrections Special Management's unit. He was serving time for armed robbery. He stole the identity of Kimmel, 94, and then swiped millions of dollars from his Charles Schwab account. That's fucking Charles Schwab.
Billionaire with Charles Schwab. Yeah, all right.
They're like the McDonald's of investment companies. Why is a billionaire with Charles Schwab? That's like Warren Buffett going to McDonald's every morning before work.
Right. In his
over
Ford
the phone,
Fiesta.
Over the phone, the gang member allegedly tricked customer service reps with the financial service company to wire the money to a company in Idaho to buy up more than 6,000 American Eagle 1-ounce gold coins. Gee, no red flags there. From there, he got a private plane to bring the coins to Atlanta, buying a $4 million house in Buckhead. Well,
Oh my God.
I think what first tipped them off was there was a black guy living in Buckhead.
How about Charles Schwab, the customer service representatives? Like when the call begins with, you have an incoming call from the Georgia Department of Corrections. Like that's not
Right.
giveaway.
Yeah. When the guy is saying, and I'd like to transfer the money to these gold coins in Idaho, and there's a guy in the back going, motherfucker, get off the motherfucking phone. Well, I guess
One more minute on this call.
I guess
No hands.
He really sold himself as a genuine Hollywood producer on the phone because he asked if she wanted to see his cock. So she was like, all right, this guy's the real deal.
By the way, I can already tell you this guy is a better movie producer than the guy he ripped off, the billionaire.
Yeah.
Because this is the most industrious wheeler and dealer. If he did this from prison.
Yep.
That's incredible. Like, so there's a guy, I'm not going to name names, but he's a producer and successful producer, TV producer. And I worked with him on a show, and the line producer I knew very well, and I had worked with him a lot. And I would always tell line producers, like, listen, you got to calm down. I'm not going to go over budget, but you got to let me move money around. And trust me, I'm going to move money around, but I will not go over budget and get you in trouble with the network. This guy, it was like had to be reprimanded for he kept trying to pay for like vodka and drinks and all, but everything was over budget. Also, he would approach musicians and be like, listen, if you could do this free, do our jingle, do our show open, sort of song for free. When we get picked up, man, I'm going to pay you. It was nothing but ripping people off.
Yeah.
And just a wake of destruction. And I remember calling him the worst producer I ever worked with till I finally was like, I think he might be the best producer I've ever worked with. And I'm the problem. I'm the problem. If you want to get the best show on the air, no one gives a shit about who you ripped off. It's like, that's Trump's approach to business. I want the greatest clubhouse out in Montauk, out in Shinnecock, wherever it is. And I don't care if I have to completely rip off the architect, which he did, to get it, because that's the only way I'm going to get it, because I'm way over budget.
Right.
And then I'll just let the chips fall where they may. They can try to sue me. And anyway, this guy's a wheeler and dealer, man.
Yeah, and he's only 31, and he's already done. He's already ripped off. I went down the rabbit hole. I kept reading about this guy online. He's ripped off tons of. He's only 31. He's been ripping people off for years.
Wow.
You just think about a guy like that. If you gave him a real job at a real corporation, how fucking successful he would be with that kind of mind.
Yeah. No, you see movies like that, it's Scammers. Oh, well, Better Call Saul. He sits at his law desk for a little bit, and he's like, I can make a lot more money than this.
Yeah.
Let me take some matters in my own hands. I have a couple of shortcuts. Okay.
Time for some good news for Gibbons.
All righty.
Do you want to start?
Well, I got a text from Dennis this week, and it was related. I think it was It was definitely referencing our last podcast, and he goes, because last podcast you talked about him doing 10 minutes in San Francisco, and he wanted more time. Do you want to elaborate on that? What was?
Well, basically, so Dennis is from San Francisco, but he's not like a San Francisco comic. But he wants to do stand up there. I'm going to be headlining the Punchline in November. So he says he wants to do a guest spot on the show, which that show is run really tight. Molly Schmenk, who runs the club, is amazing, and she really cares about curating a good show. She puts a lot of
legendary
thought into
club.
it. Yeah, who should open for who and how long the show should be. So it's kind of a thing to put somebody on the show. But I say I can get you on, but it'll be 10 minutes. And then he's like, well, I can get a lot of people to show up. And I'm like, yeah, but you can't really do more than 10 minutes. It's just how they do it. And so he goes, all right, then forget it. And so I'm like, all right, I don't really care. And then he's like, and then he calls me, and then he texts me back, all right, I'll do it. But then he would only do the Saturday early show, which is, first of all, I don't need anybody. Saturday early show sells out first. That's the easy one. And what he's going to do is he's going to have a bunch of people he wants on the guest list. So not only will I not be selling those tickets because they'll be in there. So I will make less money by Dennis doing the 8 o'clock
Yes.
show on Saturday.
Right. So he texts me, oh, and 10 minutes isn't enough for me at all in SF, brah, but I'm doing it. Come on up.
Dude, you should come up. Why don't you come up? We'll do a Sunday Papers from the club.
All right. When are you there? I don't listen to when your plugs.
November 3rd, 4th, 5th, I think.
I think I'm getting my hip yanked out November 3rd.
Oh, Jesus.
We'll see. That's a good excuse. Sorry, Dennis. I can't
That
see
is
your
pretty
10
good.
minutes. Yeah.
But I'm looking forward to it. Dennis is actually very funny, and he'll be great on the show.
He's hysterical,
He's
and he's
really-
great on stage.
Yeah, he is. Let's get to entertainment.
You got it. I think everyone saw the news this week. Trevor Noah sets date for his Daily Show exit. The Daily Show host will end his time in the hot seat on Thursday, December 8th. This means that Noah will be in Atlanta with his gang to cover the midterm elections before he goes. The Daily Show will return on Tuesday, January 17th with, quote, additional details forthcoming. So whether Viacom will have found a permanent new host by then is unclear, or whether one of its trusted correspondents will fill it. I know Roy Wood Jr. I know Chris Denman was plugging him, and he seems like he could do it for sure. But, you know, this is a whole shift. The New York Times did a story that late night might be over forever. So the story talked about Trevor Noah leaving, okay, which, you know, I don't really think of Trevor Noah in late night, but obviously it is. But I always think of the networks. But anyway, Trevor Noah leaving, James Corden leaving, Samantha Bee was already fired. They are thinking of moving Seth Meyers to Paramount Plus.
Really?
And then the networks might be giving back their 10 o'clock hour for national news. It's not making money. So even Fallon might go earlier, like at 10:30 or 10. But late night as we know it, and who knows how long it'll be on, is gone.
Damn.
Yeah, and I don't know about CBS's plans for Colbert. I know there are rumors that CBS is going to replace Corden with a much more inexpensive show that is not a talk show. So,
Well, I could see a panel show going there, something where you've got some comedians that are political talking about the news or pop culture. That's not an expensive show because you don't have to pay a lot of writers. They just show up and bang it out. And also the networks like to bring faces through. They like to expose people that are maybe in their kitchen that they want to work with. And so these panel shows are really great for them.
yeah.
You know, like what's his name is doing on Fox News, Greg
Gutfeld.
Greg Gutfeld, something like that.
Yeah, he's beating a lot of them also, but that's also another story about, you know, the politicization of shows, because certainly Colbert politicized his show.
Oh, and they're all politicized except for Fallon. I think he's the only one that doesn't do a lot of politics.
Right, especially after he, you know, played around with Trump and his hair and tried to make Trump likable.
The other people considered for the job, Ronnie Chang, Michael Costa. He's a really good stand-up. I like Michael Costa.
Yeah.
Dulce Sloan. She's been on my podcast. She's really good.
Yep.
And let's not leave Kilborn off that list. Bring it back full circle.
Kilby could come back. That would be great. 5 questions makes its return.
Did I ever tell you the story about me and Ross Broccoli on The Daily Show?
No.
So when The Daily Show was first getting put together, I was in New York, and me and Ross Broccoli pitched a segment for The Daily Show, and it was the movie review segment. And the idea was we were 2 slackers living in New York, and we realized that if you left a movie theater in less than 20 minutes, they give you your money back, but it has to be less than 20 minutes. So it's us reviewing the first 19 minutes of every movie. So we pitch it to The Daily Show, and they buy it. And so we're going to be on The Daily Show. We're in the original version of it with Kilborn.
Yeah.
And so we go out and we start shooting like what the opening sequence is going to be. And so we're in Times Square, and they've got like a camera way down the street, and it's a long shot, and we've got microphones on, and we're walking, and we're just fucking around. We're not supposed to have the audio on at that point, but they captured us. What do you call that when you capture somebody with a hot mic? We got hot mic. And we're fucking around, and we're trying to make the sound guy laugh. And so we're going like, can you believe this Daily Show on kind of this thing's going to fucking tank? I go, it's never going to last. What are we doing with our careers?
No.
And he's laughing. And then the producers of the show are in the edit bay, and they hear us saying that. And we get fired before we ever fucking got on the air. And so
they walked out on your first 19 minutes.
So our manager, Dave Becky, calls us up, and he goes, all right, guys, they're pissed. What happened? And we told him what happened, and he goes, look, I guarantee if you just call them and explain what happened, then they'll let you on the show. It's just a misunderstanding. And Ross goes, no, I'm not doing that. This show's not going anywhere.
Perfect. Also, what would that explanation be? Well, we don't think the show's going anywhere, and we should not have said that out loud. Sorry.
Yeah. Let's get to this soap opera star. I think we should skip these two.
Okay, sounds good.
Days of Our Lives actor James Lastovic and his roommate have gone missing in Hawaii, according to his mother, who's pleading for help. James' mom, Lucien, says her son and Nevin Dizdari were vacationing at a resort in Kauai. On Sunday, they told someone on the staff at the Hanalei Bay Resort they were headed for the Koki State Park, where they were going to take a long trail hike. They also asked for directions to Shipwreck Beach, specifically around the cliff diving area. According to Lucien, they never returned to the resort Sunday night, and they haven't been seen since. They left all their belongings in the room, which are now in the possession of police. What? It also turns out that Lastovic has a twin brother who showed up pretending to be him. But when he got cancer, Lastovic's fiance fell in love with him. But then things got juicy when Lastovic's returned from the dead and took over the twins' real estate empire. The fiance then got amnesia, which was pretty handy because she had just found out that Lastovic is actually her brother.
Dun dun. Fade to commercial break. This is insane. Whoa,
Yeah.
Is this the new White Lotus? That's what it sounds like. That's what exactly what it sounds like.
Yeah. I don't know this guy, but Sunday Papers wishes him well after mocking.
So you're a star on Days of Our Lives, and you have a roommate? Okay.
Yes, interesting.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, good. I mean, it's not. I'd say it's not looking good.
No, it's not looking good. He took a long hike. I mean, in soap operas, though, they always come back from the dead. That's like the biggest trope of soap operas.
Here's the one encouraging thing. It's not in Mexico. It's in Hawaii. I just read a story. I was going to put it in, but it's too gruesome. This guy was going to the airport with his fiance, and then he told they got to the airport early. He's like, I'm going to take a cab and go get like whatever he had to get, whatever they, maybe gifts or something. Took a cab. Cab didn't, they didn't have anything at the place. And then the cab driver goes, I know a place that will have it. And then all of a sudden the cab driver took him, he walked in. The next thing he know, he's waking up in a ditch and they're hacking his foot off. And what they were trying to do is they were trying to cut his Achilles tendon so he couldn't walk or go anywhere. But they just chopped off the bottom of his foot instead, and they chopped it a bunch of times. Anyway, it was this horrific story and couldn't really find the jokes for it. But they left him for dead in a ditch. And then he eventually found people that helped him. But yeah, that's one of the Mexican cab ride stories. Not as bad as yours.
There was always those stories. I didn't know if they were urban legends, but I don't think they are, where they would drug you in a bar and then you'd wake up in a hotel room and you'd be, and your liver was gone, or they would take one of your organs.
I think they do harvest organs, and a lot of that I think was in Asia. But no, but the big one, I'll keep it brief, but I told you when I was, they're like, only get a cab from your hotel. I was in Mexico City. Only get a cab from the hotel guys. I'm like, oh yeah, great. So you guys get $5. And I'm like, I'm from New York. I got it. And anyway, then I met my friends who live in Mexico City, my good friend and his brother. And I jump out of a cab and they're like, I'm like, oh man, I just came from the park. They're like, how'd you get here? I'm like, cab. I'm like, well, where did you get the cab? I'm like, I just hailed it, man. They're like, oh, don't do. I'm like, you guys? They both live there.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh no, it's actually rather surprising you didn't get kidnapped. I'm like, what? They're like, kidnap's a strong word, but all the cab drivers are paid by criminals. The cab will just take you to a place, and then the whole goal is to empty your bank account through your ATM, and they will hold you until they get a lot of money. And that's the best case scenario.
We were in Mexico a couple years ago, and I forget where we were. I think we were Puerto Vallarta, like north of Puerto Vallarta.
Yeah.
There was a surf spot that Jojo really wanted to go to. And so we got the hotel, and we found this guy who does surf tours. And we found him online, and we went back and forth with him. And the deal was he was going to pick us up, drive us the 45 minutes up the coast, have the boards, have the lunch, take us out. And so we go to the front of the hotel, and he pulls up in his pickup truck, and we all jump in. And as we get in, he's like, there's cab drivers yelling at him. And it turns out, like, nobody's allowed to pick you up at the hotel. You have to take a taxi. It's like a fucking cartel. And so as we took off, like 5 taxi cabs followed us, pulled around us, pulled us off the side of the road. The guy tried to escape, slammed into another car. We're just sitting there going like, we just want to go surfing. What the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And they like grabbed his board and smashed it. And, you know, the cops came and the cops took the taxi driver's side.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And he had to give the taxi driver money for the damage to his car that he did when he tried to pull out and he hit the guy's car.
Well, I mean, I know we've both told these stories for any listeners who are frustrated, but it's for the new listeners. People got to get to know us, get to know our international adventures.
Well, I just did Bert Kreischer's podcast. Not Bert Kreischer. Well, it's Bert.
Yeah,
Bert
you took
Segura's
Bert's spot.
But I sat in for Bert because he's busy. And I told a story about almost blowing a guy in the woods. And I got so many emails from people like, yeah, thanks for telling the story again. We hadn't heard it before. Yeah, it's like, all right, I guess I got to retire that one.
Or just change it. Change it to like anal. You gotta update the story. Yeah.
I got to go further and further every time.
Keep them guessing. All right, what are we at? Make America, Florida?
Let's do it.
Okay, this story killed me. Florida man, all right, here it is. True story. Florida man travels through Hurricane Ian damage to get to Nashville concert. Steve Hilfiger said that when he saw flights were canceled, he and his 19-year-old son knew instantly they were going to drive instead. None of this was going to stop him from going to Nashville, Tennessee, though, to see the Elton John concert Sunday night. Elton John is Hilfiger's favorite artist, but this was not just any trip to see an amazing live performance. He was planning to meet up with the sister of the man who gave him his new heart. More than 2 years ago, Steve, who was in his 50s, had to get a heart transplant. At that same time, 31-year-old Daniel was brain dead and on life support. Daniel passed, and he was an organ donor, and he saved Hilfiger's life. Hilfiger met Daniel's sister, Vanessa, soon after the transplant of her brother's heart. Hilfiger asked her to go with him to see his favorite artist, Elton John, in Charlotte, Atlanta, Nashville, and last in LA. She agreed. At every concert, it became a tradition for Vanessa to listen to her brother's heart while Steve sings and dances to Somebody Saved My Life Tonight. Okay. Where do I fucking start?
Please let him die of a heart attack while she has her head pressed against his chest.
What complete fucking morons. Okay, first, all right. Someone Saved My Life Tonight. That's the one you sing. Elton John has a song called Daniel. And that's not the one you sing to? Okay, a side note on Daniel, by the way, of course, because fucking Bernie Taupin. Daniel, and I like researched this. Oh man, come on up. Where is it? Hold on here. It's not working. Okay, Daniel, listen to this. Daniel has been the most misinterpreted song that we'd ever written, explained Taupin. The story was, get this, you know the song, Daniel,
Yes.
Flying Off in a Plane to Spain. Yep. All about going to Spain.
Yep.
The story was about a guy that went back to a small town in Texas, returning from the Vietnam War. They lauded him when he came home and treated him like a hero, but he just wanted to go home, back to the farm, and try to get back to the life he led before. I wanted to write something that was, he's completely, literally retarded. You wonder why it's the most. I see Daniel flying off in a plane to Spain. I love Spain. Whatever the fucking stupid juvenile lyrics are. Okay, so anyway, there's that. But instead they sing "Someone Saved My Life Tonight," which of course is drivel. Someone saved my life tonight. You ready? Here's some of the lyrics. And someone saved my life tonight. Sugar bear, sugar bear. And then it's you almost had your hooks in me anyway. You're a butterfly. And butterflies are free to fly, fly away, high away, bye-bye, ooh, 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 ooh. That anyone is singing along to an Elton John song.
Yeah.
I get the melody. I get all of that. So get this. You want to know what Someone Saved My Life is about? It's about when Elton John, gay Elton John, broke up with his female girlfriend while he and Bernie were roommates in London.
Interesting.
That's what Someone Saved My Life is about.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what she's listening to his heart. So all of this goes to show that maybe Bernie Taupin's genius is no one listens to his lyrics. No one even cares. And even when you sing along, they're invisible lyrics with zero meaning.
No meaning.
You put your own meaning. By the way, having nothing, you're not even close to the meaning. It's not like a slight, like you're interpreting it for yourself. Like it's not even about a gay guy breaking up with a girl when you're listening to the heart, Someone Saved My Life Tonight. And it's not about going to Spain. It's about, it's just, that's Bernie Taupin's genius, I guess, is nonsense.
What
In a
about-
word, nonsense.
If I was a sculptor, but then again, no. Well,
Yeah.
Don't give me the no. How about if I was a carpenter? Then again, yes. Keep that in.
It's almost like he's reciting like into a, like a little recording device lyrics as he's walking around. He's like, if I was a sculptor, then again, no, not that. But then he just writes down what's in his recorder.
Right. Yeah.
I can't.
I think that the heart that was beating in the guy's chest started beating really fast, and it got some messages from the ears that made him want the legs to head for the exit before it could hear any more fucking Bernie Taupin lyrics.
Even his heart is like, you guys know this is about a gay dude who broke up with his girlfriend. Like this isn't have any no one's life was really saved.
Yeah.
No one was close to death. He was just close to a heterosexual relationship.
Yeah. All right.
Oh my God.
All right. Let's do some sports. Troy Aikman, I love this story because I was watching the game, and when Troy Aikman said this, I fucking laughed so hard because I knew the shit he was going to get about it. He feels regretful now over a controversial comment he made during the Chiefs-Raiders game on Monday Night Football. He said he hopes the NFL, quote, takes the dresses off after another contentious roughing the passer call. During a radio appearance on 96.7 The Ticket, Aikman called his remarks dumb when one of the hosts noted that there was some reaction to his strong comments. Can we just have football? Can we have one little fucking place where we can be sexist pigs, where we'll give you raising our sons to be progressive and open-minded and feminist. We'll give you equal pay in the workplace, but can we have a place where we can have cheerleaders that are wearing short shorts? Now they're wearing fucking yoga pants. There's cheerleaders in fucking yoga pants. I mean,
especially the males.
just give us Sunday morning. Just Sunday morning. Saturday night, we'll go out. We'll do whatever you want. But just leave us alone for 3 hours on Sunday to fucking rejoice in the past.
Aikman was like, listen, that was a regrettable comment about the dresses. And I just, it's my understanding a lot of you got your panties in a bunch. And that was not my intention.
And I hope that you can all put your tampons back in and understand that where this was coming from.
I don't know if it was that time of the month when I said it for a lot of you, but really, sorry. That was not my intention.
I mean, female broadcasters, you know what? I am a progressive, open-minded, liberal guy. I don't want female fucking broadcasters on my football games. I just can't get used to it. You didn't play. You didn't coach it.
Yep.
Just let us have this. Can we just have this one thing?
Yeah. We're not going to touch the Lifetime movies. You got those.
Right.
You make fun of men on those. Whatever you want to do. We're all killers on those anyway.
Yep.
So that's our representation on all the Lifetime movies.
So as far as our Buccaneers bet, you are now up $50 because last week Tampa Bay won, but they only won by 6 and the spread was 9.5.
And boy, did they kill a lot of time. There was like over 2 minutes on the clock when he took his first knee.
Yep.
And I thought it was going to be, well, even a field goal, I think I was safe. But, I've been there before where they know they've won it kind of, and then he just fades back. And then a long one. He just launches a long one for shits and giggles, and it goes in. It goes in right into the end zone.
So this week, Tampa Bay is playing Pittsburgh. They're playing in Pittsburgh and still giving the Steelers 8.5 points. So I think it's going to be a tough win this week for the Bucs.
It's not tonight, is it? When is it? Sunday?
I think it's Sunday. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be a good game this weekend. Is the Bills against the Kansas City.
I'll be flying back from college football, so I don't know if I'll have the room for more football at that point. All right, don't you have to go soon?
Yeah, let's do. All right, we'll skip this story about that. We'll skip that.
Yeah.
I just want to say for business, this treasurydirect.gov that we were telling you guys about to get these bonds that are paying 9.6%. They're redoing the website. Christopher Wujik wrote in to say that they realize that it's a shit show. They're redoing it, so stay tuned.
All right.
Let's get down to letters to the editor. John Rylands from Bloomfield, Connecticut says, "Carry On My Wayward Son." We were talking about songs that were written quickly that were great. "Carry On My Wayward Son" was written by Kerry Livgren in 15 minutes as they needed one more song for the album. That's a fucking great song. Here's the thing about Kansas. Kansas was one of those 70s bands that just went for it. They went fucking big.
Yeah, big time.
And it didn't always work, but when it did, it was fucking amazing.
Yep.
Highway Star by Deep Purple was written on the tour bus on the way from their hotel to the gig. They went on to play it that night at the show. Awesome. Great first albums. Davey says that Tiger Milk by Bell and Sebastian. He loved that at Stowe College in Glasgow. He's one of our listeners from Scotland. I like Bell and Sebastian.
I don't know them really that well.
It's good. It's, it's pussy rock, but it's good.
Easy, Aikman.
All right, let's do quick.
Oh, wait. There's one like that. Oh, one of the Clash's biggest songs, "Train in Vain." It was on London Calling, and people call it a hidden track because it's the last track and it's not listed and it's not in the liner notes. And a very similar story, Scorsese, they were recording in New York, or they were in New York. Sorry. The album already went out and was in the process of getting pressed. And and all the artwork was already in. And Scorsese said, I need a song. And Scorsese loves The Clash. I need a song for this movie. They, just like this, like hunker down, and within like hours wrote and recorded Train in Vain and You Stand By Me, and they sent it in, and it made it to the album in time, but not in time to change the artwork. And then Scorsese, I think, didn't use it.
Oh, no shit. Really?
Yeah. But it's one of the most successful songs. Like, it's one of the most popular Clash songs,
Oh,
and it
that's
was
amazing.
a last-minute add to their best album.
Great story, Mike. Love
Sure
it.
thing.
Let's get to the funnies.
You got it. I'm
Carl
unprepared, but
Lydon,
yep.
and a couple people wrote in with this about Family Circus. He said, I hate to explain a bad joke to comedians, but I think the shitty boy digging, his name is Billy, is referring to the idea that the earth might be hollow. Hollow would be the opposite of solid. I don't even remember the comic. A
But
couple people wrote that.
what's the idea that the earth might be hollow? Is this an idea I'm unaware of?
I don't know. Maybe this is like some,
Is it like an Easter, like chocolate bunny that some are solid?
I don't know, is this back when there were alchemists?
I think I've already spent too much time on this. But thank you for
Also-
trying. But you see, it's just trying
All right,
to understand.
Let's get to Hager, who is really the Troy Aikman of the medieval times. This is how he treats his fucking wife. He's walking along with Lucky. They just got back from battle. They look a little bit beat up. And Lucky says, Cy, why do we keep on doing this terrible work? And Hager said, I do it for cold ale, cold chicken, and a warm, warm heart. And Helga is waiting at the front door. She's got some food. She's got some gruel. And they sit down in chairs, nice, big, comfortable chairs. And Lucky says, what first attracted you to your wife all these years ago? And Hager eats a chicken bone, throws the fucking bone on the floor. And he says, I love that Helga was not one of those high-maintenance types. And Helga comes over and hands him more food and beer, and then proceeds to bend over and pick up the fucking chicken bone off the floor. And then he goes, Helga, I'm ready for a refill. Holds up his cup, and she comes and pours it for him. And Lucky goes, so it's true, opposites attract. What's funny about that? It's just an exploration of how fucking horrible of a guy he is.
Also, it's interesting for a rapist to call his rape victim potentially high maintenance. Are any rape victims high maintenance? Haven't
did
you
steal her.
circumvented all of that by your absolutely barbaric behavior?
It is documented that he stole her. Let's get to the Lockhorns. Leroy looks at Loretta, and he goes, when I said we should talk about our feelings, I didn't mean to each other. And then in the next one, Leroy's at a cocktail party, and Loretta is talking to a friend. Leroy is walking. He looks dejected, and he's walking away from a very hot woman with a drink in her hand. And Loretta says, when Leroy asked, what's your sign? She said, stop. And you got to see the woman. She looks like he just tried to grab her pussy. Her arm is wrapped around her waist. She's recoiling
Yes.
like a victim.
Yeah. She's protecting herself.
Here's one I just did because sometimes I like Bunny's wordplay.
All right.
And he's watching TV, and Loretta says to her friend, Leroy doesn't exercise. He's in the fitness protection program.
I didn't even put in a family circus, but by memory, I'm going to put it in after this. By memory, though, I remember one that struck me when I was little. This car is driving but through fields. Like there's a farm, fields on the left and on the right, and with the fences. And the car is driving by, and out the window, you can tell now in the car, cows are driving the car. And this cow leans out the window and screams, yakety, 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 yak. And then you see in the field, all these humans are in the field like eating, and they all like look up and like look over. And that was one of my favorites that introduced me to the series.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one you can look at for a little while. Here he is. Dagwood, and this is one of those weeks where I look back at the whole week and I pick my favorite Blondie cartoon. And this is one of those weeks where like 6 out of the 7 did not have Blondie in it. This is not called
What?
Dagwood. This comic strip is not about this fucking Zero talking to Herb the neighbor or the short order cook and making jokes about how bad the food is or sleeping at his desk. Nobody cares. We want to see Blondie. So he's now talking to Herb, and they're standing on either side of a shrub. And Herb goes, Tootsie, which, first of all, that's your fucking wife's name? Tootsie? Was she a stripper? Tootsie wants to renew our wedding vows. And then Dagwood goes, oh, that's romantic. Herb goes, yeah, and she wants to add some new ones. Dagwood, oh, like what? Herb says, like, Herb will clear the dishes, vacuum the carpets, and clean the garage every Saturday. Dagwood says, kind of takes the romance out of it, doesn't it? Yeah. You know why? Here's where the romance should be, Dagwood. You should be up at the crack of dawn on Saturday, scrubbing the floors, giving her a fucking pedicure, leaf blowing, whatever the fuck it takes to keep that woman happy. Not standing in the backyard grousing with Herb about how women make you do things around the house. What fucking year is this?
Isn't it the 50s? I don't know. Is it modernized?
No, they're still writing them. These are new ones.
Oh, that's insane.
Yeah.
Dagwood.
Fucking Dagwood. I need to see this asshole on a Sunday. All right, listen, I got to run. Mike, it's been fun.
Yes. All right. Go blue, I guess, is what people are going to be screaming at me when I wear my Michigan hat that my daughter gave me.
Yeah,
I got to prepare myself for that. Have fun in Chicago.
All right. Say hi to Soph. Say hi to your dad.
Yeah,
and,
same to you and Owen. I hope you kill. I hope you sell out.
Oh, please.
I hope it
Your
goes
lips to
well.
God's ears. Yeah.
Good luck on the morning radio.
Yeah, it's going to be a big weekend. And,
All right, everybody.
Thanks to Midcoast Media for doing a great job. Key and Chris and John and Beth and everybody. We'll see you guys next time.
Until then, everybody, take it easy.
Take it easy.
All righties.
Sunday.